Welcome to this Meet the Singles SDA podcast. Today's topic, honesty. The quality of being honest. Exploring how to live a life free of deceit, being truthful and sincere. Honesty is a foundational aspect of any meaningful connection, whether it's with yourself, others, or potential partners. Practicing honesty can be empowering. It helps you stay true to who you are, maintain healthy relationships, and build trust. We'll discuss 10 ways to approach honesty in a balanced and constructive way. 1. Be honest with yourself first. Honesty starts with self-awareness. Take time to reflect on your own feelings, needs, and desires. Are you clear about what you want in life or a relationship? Are you honest with yourself about your strengths and weaknesses? Self-honesty isn't always easy, but it's crucial for understanding what makes you tick and what you truly want out of life. If you aren't being honest with yourself about your emotions, goals, or values, it's easy to get lost in trying to please others or live up to expectations that aren't yours. Start by facing your fears, your doubts, and even your ambitions head on. Be honest with yourself and God. It's easy to hide from others, but don't fall into the trap of deceiving yourself. Be honest about your motives, why you want a relationship, what you're really looking for, and where you're tempted to compromise. Bring your heart to God without pretending. He already knows you fully and still loves you completely. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Psalm 139, verse 23. 2. Be honest about your intentions. When interacting with others, whether it's in dating, friendships, or professional relationships, be clear about your intentions. If you're just looking for friendship, communicate that. If you're interested in something more serious, say so. Honesty up front avoids misunderstandings and ensures that everyone is on the same page. In dating especially, there's often a tendency to downplay intentions because of fear of rejection or wanting to seem less needy or complicated. But a genuine connection thrives on clarity. Being honest about your intentions doesn't guarantee success, but it creates the right environment for a real, meaningful relationship. 3. Practice radical transparency in communication. Honesty doesn't mean blurting out every single thought that crosses your mind. It means being open and clear without the need for deception or manipulation. Sometimes people hold back certain truths or bend the truth because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings or they fear judgment. But honesty isn't about being brutally blunt or harsh. It's about choosing transparency over secrecy. When you communicate openly, you create trust, and trust is the cornerstone of any relationship, romantic or otherwise. But remember, there's a way to be tactful with your honesty. Be considerate, but always real. 4. Don't fear vulnerability. Being honest often requires vulnerability. It's easy to keep certain things to yourself, especially if they're personal or you feel they might make you seem weak or imperfect. But being vulnerable is part of being human. It allows others to see you for who you really are, not just the polished version you want them to see. When you let your guard down, you invite others to do the same, and that fosters deeper, more authentic connections. For example, if you're struggling with something personal or emotional, sharing it with someone you trust can open up an avenue for support, and it can make your relationships much richer. Honesty builds trust in relationships. Whether you're dating, pursuing marriage, or building friendships, honesty is the bedrock of trust. Without it, even well-intentioned relationships will collapse under the weight of doubt and suspicion. Be honest about your intentions, boundaries, and expectations. Don't pretend to be someone you're not to gain approval or affection. Own your weaknesses and sins with humility, not hiding them, but submitting them to Christ. Honesty doesn't mean no filter. While being truthful is important, it doesn't mean you should speak every unfiltered thought that crosses your mind. It's about choosing honesty with sensitivity. Being tactful and choosing the right time to speak is just as important. Sometimes timing can be everything when it comes to honesty. It's about balance, being authentic while also being kind and considerate.
For example, if you're giving someone constructive feedback, it's important to be honest, but you should focus on how to help them grow rather than simply pointing out flaws. The intention behind honesty matters as much as the truth itself. Remember, honesty is a form of love. Loving others includes telling the truth even when it's hard. Lies may seem easier in the short term, but they rob others of the ability to make informed, respectful choices. Love rejoices with the truth. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 6. If you truly care for someone, you'll tell them the truth, not to hurt, but to honor them. 6. Don't use honesty as a weapon. Being honest doesn't mean using it to criticize, hurt, or manipulate others. Sometimes people use "I'm just being honest" as an excuse to say hurtful things or to avoid responsibility for their own actions. True honesty comes from a place of respect and care for others, not from the desire to win or teach someone a lesson. Being honest is a gift when done with empathy. It's a way of showing you respect and value someone enough to be real with them, even if the truth isn't easy to hear. But honesty should never come at the cost of someone's dignity. 7. Learn to accept the consequences of honesty. Honesty sometimes has consequences. You may face rejection, disappointment, or even discomfort when you speak the truth. But those consequences are part of the process. Being truthful is ultimately more freeing than living a life of deceit or half-truths. It allows you to align your actions with your values, and that builds internal peace over time. If you're honest with someone about something difficult, whether it's a relationship concern or a personal boundary, you might not always get the response you hope for. But honesty builds resilience, and facing those difficult moments with integrity will allow you to grow as a person. Honesty requires courage, but God honors it. Telling the truth isn't always easy, especially when it might lead to rejection, discomfort, or difficult conversations. But the Bible says, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity." Proverbs 11, verse 3. God honors those who walk in integrity. He's not calling you to be perfect, but to be authentic and truthful even when it's costly. Trust Him with the results. 8. Don't lie to protect others at your expense. It's natural to want to shield people from pain or discomfort, but lying to protect others can lead to bigger issues down the road. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do for someone is to tell them the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. When you avoid difficult conversations, you create space for resentment or confusion. It's better to have an honest conversation, even if it feels hard, than to let things fester. 9. Stay honest with your boundaries. Honesty also applies to setting and maintaining your boundaries. If you're not comfortable with something, be honest about it. Don't say yes to things you don't want to do just to avoid confrontation. Your time and energy are valuable, and being honest about your limits ensures that you're not overextending yourself or compromising your well-being. 10. Honesty as a foundation for a life honoring God and relationships. Honesty reflects Christ's character. As a Christian, your ultimate goal is to be conformed to the image of Christ, Romans 8:29. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, which means living truthfully is essential to your identity in Him. Dishonesty, even in small things, erodes your witness and integrity. When you speak truth, you reflect the very nature of Christ. Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we are all members of one body. Ephesians 4, verse 25. By being honest with yourself and others, you'll build a life that's rooted in integrity. Whether you're single or in a relationship, living authentically will attract the right people into your life, those who appreciate you for who you truly are. And that's where real connection happens. If you're single and seeking to live faithfully, remember this: honesty honors God, protects your heart, and prepares you for healthy, godly relationships. It's not always the smoothest path, but it's the one where God walks closely with you. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5, verse 8. Let your honesty be part of your worship, an offering of truth in a world full of masks. Check out our other videos. If you like this podcast, please comment, like, share, and subscribe for future content.